Hey, what's up guys? Manny Diaz here for Sofa Couch Media's COVER1. We're bringing you a whole new brand, a whole new platform of how to take in Texas high school football. We're doing it through creative highlights this season, post-game sound and analysis, and not doing it through blanket coverage. We're doing it with the best matchup of the week here in West Texas. So here we go. We're bringing you our lineup of games, the best matchup each week. Let go. Let's begin with the preseason matchup on August 24th as the Abilene Cooper Cougars come to San Angelo to take on the Central Bobcats. Two former Little Southwest Conference foes dueling out in this scrimmage here. But before we get to the matchup to watch for, let's kind of set the tail of the tape. The Central Bobcats really not showing too much love according to Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine. Ranked number 32 in the state of Texas according to the magazine in Class 6A, while the Cougars ranked 18th in Class 5A. But the matchup we're watching for, here's what we're kind of having our eye on here. Maverick McIver, the Central quarterback QB1, Texas Tech commit, along with his receiving corps taking on that Cooper secondary led by LaDainian Diaz. This returning secondary, good for 6 INTs a season ago. Should be fun to watch. Nonetheless, a good tune-up for both teams. Well, how about this Week 1 matchup in a battle of two top 10 teams in Texas as the Wall Hawks welcome to town the Mason Punchers. Now, according to Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine, the Hawks rank number 7 in Class 3A Division I, while the Punchers rank number 3 in Class 2A Division I. Look out for this one to be a very physical game. The Hawks working with that flexbone offense, while the Punchers love to roll out that rushing attack, the wing tee, wishbone, whatever you want to call it. Look out for it to be physical. The Punchers coming off a season just a year ago in which that backfield rushed for over 3,900 yards and 50 touchdowns. Yeah, they did some work. They'll look to give the Hawks a very good game in this one. Mason head coach Cade Burns going for his 100th career win on August 31st of opening night. All right, let's talk Week 2 as Christoval hits the road to take on the Grape Creek Eagles in a battle of Tom Green County. This one looks to be a good test for Christoval sophomore quarterback Braden Wilcox, who rushed for over 1,300 yards and 11 touchdowns a year ago. He'll certainly be tested by this Grape Creek defense that's anchored by their defensive front. Let's get to these guys here. Jacob Carey with 55 tackles, Caleb Doucette with 31 tackles in 2017. Also alongside linebacker Keaton Prather with 91 tackles and 6 INTs a year ago. This one looks to be a very good matchup, certainly a battle in the trenches. Let's hit the road for Central Texas in Week 3 as the Central Bobcats take on 9th-ranked Cedar Park. And what a test this one will be for the Central defense led by linebackers Broderick Howard and Zacharian Pauk. They'll certainly be tested by this Timberwolves quarterback Ryan Fiala. This kid, 6'5", 210 pounds, stepped in last season throwing for over 1,200 yards and 17 touchdowns. Yeah, he's not too bad. At Central secondary, led by Malik Finley, that 4.4 speed, this kid can cruise. He's coming off a 62 tackle kind of season. Also look for him to make an impact in this one. No doubt a great non-district test for the Bobcats in this one. Let's talk Week 4 in a battle of the COVER1 Cover Boys as the Wall Hawks travel down to Sutton County to take on the Sonora Broncos. This one looks to be a solid matchup. Also our first look at the Broncos, who are led by QB1 Brian Van Winkle, who threw for just a shade under 400 yards last season and 6 touchdowns and did it as a backup. He'll be looking for senior wideout Wesley Dutton, who hauled in over 1,000 yards receiving and 10 touchdowns. But I tell you, the Hawks looking to bring that defense led by Gage Wysoon. Yeah, all in the last name there. Yeah, he was good for 80 tackles and 5 sacks a season ago. Cannot wait for this one. Well, we now arrive to week 5 as the Wallhawks welcome to town the Big Spring Steers for homecoming. And if you've been following the Hawks program in the last few years, you've noticed that they've been playing above classification, schools that are bigger than them. Well, for one, it's been tough for head coach Houston Guy to actually schedule teams from West Texas in their classification because nobody really feels like getting blown out on a Friday night. Can't blame them. So the Hawks have been having to go up against teams like Midland Christian and Monahans like they have been in the past few years. This year, taking on Big Spring, a team that's in the same district as the Lakeview Chiefs. We should know plenty about this Hawks team at this point, coming off matchups against Mason, Cisco, Sonora, Midland Christian, and now these Big Spring Steers. Looks to be a good tune-up, last tune-up for the Hawks as they close out the non-district season. Let's talk week 6 and a district monster matchup for the Central Bobcats as they welcome to town the 13th ranked and 3-time state champion Euless Trinity Trojans. This one very interesting since the Bobcats were realigned into this West Texas / Metroplex district. The Trojans bring in a ton of talent in this one, but what's interesting about this matchup is it begins a 3-game gauntlet for the Bobcats against Trinity, Abilene High, and North Richland Hills. As for the matchup, well, it's going to be that Central O-line versus that Trinity D-line, and look out for this kid, this D-lineman from Trinity, 6 foot, 295 pound Sal Safi. This kid good for 30 tackles and 2 sacks a year ago. That Central O-line will certainly have their hands full, led by Rowdy Garza and Gunnar Couch. Garza recently received an offer from TCU, so you know these guys going to be looking to do some work against that Trinity D-line. Nonetheless, looks fun to watch. As for that Week 7 matchup, we made mention of a 3-game stretch, a 3-game gauntlet for the Central Bobcats. What continues in this week as they travel to the Big Country to take on the Abilene High Eagles there at Shoutwell Stadium in a battle of 2 former Little Southwest Conference rivals reunited, and it feels so good. Abilene looks to be anchored by its defense. The Black Shirts bringing back 7 defensive starters from a year ago. Hopefully, Central still has something left in the tank coming off that monster matchup against Euless Trinity. Nonetheless, this one, a historic rivalry. Cannot wait for this one. Looks to be fun. In the Week 8 matchup, it's the Wallhawks and the Jim Ned Indians, a matchup that's never failed us on the hardwood. On this night, on the gridiron, the Hawks will have been coming off a district opener against the Clyde Bulldogs, while the Indians looking to bring the noise and perhaps come away with an upset in this one. The Tribe finished 9-3 last season and coming back with 15 total starters. The Hawks needing, well, to take care of business, coming up with games against Eastland and Breckenridge. Nonetheless, look for this one to be a good one. Well, how about this Week 9 matchup as my hometown Cristobal takes on Menard in the south end of Tom Green County? A historic rivalry this one has always been. In my time down in Seatown, the Jackets always got the best of us, and it always decided playoff seeding, which always led to the Cougars to playing Roscoe in the opening round of the playoffs, which never really ended well for us. Nonetheless, yeah, Menard, a pretty good football team. The Cougars could be playing for a district title if they play their cards right, and here's why Menard looking pretty good. Ranked number 16 according to Dave Campbell's Texas Football Magazine in Class 2A Division II, and rightfully so. Yeah, these kids welcoming back 16 total starters led by running back Christian Salazar. This kid rushed for over 1,700 yards and 25 touchdowns a year ago. That's why this one looks to be one to watch. Will be fun to watch. Hopefully my hometown can pull it off. In Week 10, it's Sonora versus Johnson City on the road down in Central Texas, but let's take a step back real quick. Here's what makes sports so much fun, the storylines. The storyline surrounding this one is Sonora's former old ball coach, David T. Sine. Well, he's now the new ball coach down in Johnson City. Johnson City picked to finish 3rd in this district, while the Broncos picked to win it. Nonetheless, this one's been circled on the calendars of many Sonora players as well as a lot of Sonora community members. They've told me that they cannot wait for this one. David T. Sine authored that Sonora air raid offense, brought it to Sutton County. He's now working that magic down in Johnson City. Look for this one to be a very good ball game. That's why it's our Week 10 matchup. Well, let's wrap up the regular season in Week 11 as the Haltom City Buffaloes come to West Texas to take on the Central Bobcats. Now, Haltom City picked to finish 5th in this district, which means not make the playoffs. But depending on how they fare against Abilene High and North Richland Hills, well, they'll be looking to put Central on upset alert in this one. And why not? They'll be working with DFW blue chip quarterback Michael Black. This kid listed at 6'1", 185 pounds, runs a 4.5 40 and considered a dual threat quarterback. Now, this kid was good for over 2,700 yards of offense. Let me repeat that again. 2,700 yards of total offense came from him in 2017. Also good for 30 touchdowns. So he was the Buffaloes offense last season. Could be a good one and a good way for the Bobcats to end the regular season in 2018. Well, that's going to do it for the 2018 Cover 1 list of matchups. We wish nothing but the best of luck to all of our area teams. All of these matchups look to be fun and action-packed. Cannot wait. We encourage you to follow us on our social media pages on Facebook and Twitter, Cover 1, as well as on our YouTube channel and our website, sofacouchmedia.com. Until Week 1, when the Friday night lights turn on, I'm Manny Diaz. See you then.